Good afternoon, everybody. How is everybody doing on this hot day? I was worried about if it was going to rain, but it did just the opposite. So I appreciate you for coming out and being here to support us as we honor our black and brown and queer trans siblings. And so I'm honored to stand before you today on June 28th, 2020, 51 years after the Stonewall riots, where black and brown trans folks fought back against police brutality. And yet here we are so many years later, seemingly engaged in a similar battle. It is fitting for us to honor our queer and trans folks who came before us to make what we now call Pride Month even possible. Today, we will hear from local government, community leaders, and contributions from community members as we do one thing, which is celebrate our black and brown trans siblings who are still with us and honor those whose light was snuffed out way too soon. Without further ado, I would like to introduce OutCT's illustrious leader, Kia Baird. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chevelle. As she mentioned, I'm Kia Baird, and I have the honor of serving as OutCT's president. And I also, even though he's busy, so I'll riff for a little while, I want to thank you all for being here this afternoon. And I have the honor of introducing New London's mayor, Mayor Passero.
She's a working mayor.
Well, thank you, Kia. Welcome. I am very proud to stand with you here today. It's been an interesting year so far, and just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, we actually got some good news from the Supreme Court this year. So I want to celebrate that first of all, and I don't think it could have been more of a surprise. I don't think anybody was expecting it. And it was the morale boost that we needed, and it really, I think that's the moment that we're turning around. I believe that George Floyd's death will be the spark to finally start to make changes in this country. The city of New London stands here to lead the way, and I'm proud to be the mayor at this moment in our history. So thank you all. I celebrate this day with you, heat and all. Last time we did it, I think it was the coldest day of the winter. So we're gonna touch all the seasons and get it right one of these days. So thank you all, congratulations.
Now we will have a council person come up and say a few words, please. Curtis Goodwin.
How's everyone doing? Thank you guys for joining us here today. Though we're small in numbers, we're big in heart, we're big in inspiration, and we're big in mobilizing and motivating others to join us here today. I guess I had something written, but then I realized after talking to a good friend, Erica, the importance of being here today and my own ignorance standing up here in a proud moment as well. The ignorance of it is, being a black male, being a black queer male, and not understanding the injustice that happens every single day for people that are black and that are trans. If there's one thing I do know well is that being a black male in America is an extremely tough and complicated thing to do here in America. Just first and foremost being black, let alone a label adding to the stigma that we have to fight against. Then I sat and we're talking just in a moment of 5 minutes, and I realized how many lives didn't get justice. Not just because they were black, but because they were black and they were trans, which is dehumanizing. And to think that as a black male queer city councilor that I could fight against that is where I stand here empowered to work with an ally such as our mayor and his administration, where we're a city that gets it. We're a city that's inclusive. We're a city where we hope that Erica every single day gets to live in her truth. And it's not to single her out, it's just to shine light on that moment where I got down here and I didn't expect to feel not only liberated but motivated to continue doing more. So I thank you for that quick moment of reflection. But I just want to say to each and every one of you, whether you're black, whether you're queer, whether you have an identity that you wear, just understand that being black here in America is something that we don't get a choice to do. We don't get a choice to choose to be black. We don't choose to fight oppression. We didn't choose nor create racism here in America. So it takes all of us collectively to change the injustice that's happening here in America. We can't do it as black people. They, we, us, all of us cannot do it as queer black people. And Erica and every single person that stands boldly cannot do it as black trans people in America. It takes a collective, it takes all of us, and most importantly, it takes our allies to correct the mistakes that those before us have put upon us. So I thank each and every one of you for your courage and your conviction to be out here with us today. I stand extremely humbled and extremely proud to fight for us, to fight with you, to fight with us, and to continue, because the work is an uphill battle, but together we will conquer, together we will win. And just remember, here in New London, we're an inclusive place. We're very, very reflective in our leadership to resemble exactly what New London is, a diverse and amazing place to be. So let's continue fighting. Let's not let this be the next moment we all get together. And let's remember that every single black life matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis. In addition to being city council member Curtis Goodwin, Curtis is also a founding member of OutCT, and we thank you for your continued service to the New London community and to the LGBTQ community as a whole. So thank you. In addition, we have a community member who wanted to be with us today, but he had a serious medical issue about a week ago and was not able to be here with us today. So one of our board members and education committee co-chairs, Xavier Day, will be reading Ben's remarks.
Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. My name is Benjamin Donovan Rendon. I'm a 44-year-old Mexican-American trans man. When I was first asked to tell my story today, I wasn't sure I had one. Then I sat down with my daughter, and she reminded me of all the things I had actually been through. That there were other racist, homophobic, and transphobic issues. You see, I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household until I was 13. Then my parents went back to Catholicism. At around 13, I started to realize that I wanted to be one of the boys, that I liked girls, but I didn't know what that meant exactly. So I just pushed those feelings down. So when I was a freshman in high school, my parents received a call from my uncle saying he had disowned his daughter because she was a lesbian. I remember hearing my father tell my mom that we were no longer allowed to spend time with her and that he wanted nothing to do with her. Hearing the word lesbian was new to me, so I had to find out what it meant. After doing research, I realized that was me because I like girls. So again, afraid of being disowned, I pushed those feelings deep down and decided to live a life my family would approve of until my 25th birthday. When I came out as a lesbian, I was living in Wichita, Kansas, so my coming out was over the phone to my mom and 4 siblings. My mom accepted me for me saying, as long as I was happy, she was happy. Her only concern was that I had added another target on my back because I was already a Mexican. In 2014, I came out as a trans man after doing drag for a couple of years. Once again, coming out of the closet to my family was hard. Some of them accepted it, and some didn't see being any part of the LGBTQ plus in the Hispanic community is hard. There is a lot of stigma with that. But we have to keep fighting to be treated equally, even if it means cutting off family and friends. They have to know we won't be treated differently because of who we are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Xavier. I really appreciate that. And it's really interesting at how folks just existing don't even realize that they have a story to tell, right? An experience for us to know how it feels to live in someone else's shoes. So next, I'm gonna do a quote by Laverne Cox before I bring our last person up. Laverne Cox says, "It is revolutionary for any trans person to choose to be seen and visible in a world that tells us we should not exist. The next human who will be gracing us with her melodic voice is truly a revolutionist, as she is showing the world, I am here, I am proud, I live boldly as my authentic self. I welcome Miss Erica Ortiz." Come on, girl.
Hi everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Curtis, so much for your words. Thank you, Chevelle. Thank you all for having me. It means a lot. I'm trying to shake out all this emotion. I just want to give space and say thank you for having me. And I have a lot of emotions in my body, and I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm mourning, like most of us. And before I sing, I just want to say, like, we're here, and Black and brown trans women need to be included more, and we've got to do the work, myself included, to include them in these spaces because we're dying every day, disproportionately. So thank y'all for being here, and the fight's not over. Paper thin, echoes howling inside our mind. I see your reflection in the tears I cry. I feel the pain in my heart, just smile. But then you'll see me for all that I am. You let me be me. You set me free. Emotional little girl, I see you stuck in their world. I see you. Oh, I feel your pain, I feel your scars. Let it go, open up your heart. Open it up to me, baby. Just be you, I'll be me. Who we are free. And then you'll see me for all that I am. You let me be me. You set me free. Emotional little girl, I see you stuck in your world. I see you.
Thank you so much, Erica. That was beautiful. You know, that's the first time I've ever heard you sing. You're so sweet. Anyway, um, as I mentioned in my introduction, that we would celebrate our black and brown trans and queer folk who are with us, but also honor those whose light was snuffed out way too early. So right now, we're going to actually say the names of the people who have transitioned from this life to the next. And just a little fun fact, and it is not fun at all, but they are actually at the time that we created the post, there were 16 names on the list. Unfortunately, there's another one that was added on June 25th. And so out of the list of the 17 folks, only 2 of them are not black and brown. So what does that say? What does that say? It says that they think that we're disposable, and we're not, right? Also, out of that list, it also shares that the actual average age of the humans that transition from this life to the next was 35. So if that's the case, that means that at 17, you are middle age. What does that say about us as a society? So thank you for saying those words. Thank you, Erica, for living your truth. Thank you all for being here to show up for our queer, black and brown, trans people of color. Thank you. I appreciate that because it is needed so that we can stop this madness. All right, so right now we're going to have Lindsay who's going to say the names. And when you hear the name called on your flower, please come up and put it on the altar, okay? All right.
Justice Barker,
Nilisa Luciano Ruiz, Yambi Mendez Orocho, Monica Diamond, Lexi, Joanna Metzger, Penelope Diaz Ramirez, Serena Angelique Velasquez Ramos, Leila Perez Sanchez, Nina Pop, Haley J. O'Regan, Jane Thompson, Tony McDade, Selena Reyes Hernandez, Dominique Remy Fells, Raya Milton,
16 names on the board. 3 folks in the month of June killed, with the most recent on June 25th. 17 since January. This is underreported. I'm sure there are many more, but because folks are misgendered and dead named, they're not honored in the way that they should be. Right now, we're going to have a moment of silence as well as Kia will come forth and do a prayer.
Great Spirit, creator of the universe and all living things, we give you thanks for the opportunity to be here today. It is with complete humility and gratitude that we honor you and welcome you into this space. We give you thanks, Allah, for giving us the opportunity and the great responsibility of raising the names of the Black and brown trans individuals who have lost their lives. We ask humbly that as we stand in solidarity one with another, that each of us leave this place with a renewed sense of hope. Hope that we as humans will grow better every day. We ask for a renewed hope that as we grow and evolve as a community and as a country, we will love a little more freely, that we be a little kinder, and that we will be a little more open to accept those who are different than ourselves. Creator, we ask that you heal the hearts that have been broken by tragedy. We ask that you make whole the lives that now fill a void where a loved one once lived. We ask that you make us warriors for justice and champions of truth. Teach us with each breath we draw to communicate positivity to one another and share love. Yahweh, please teach us most to forgive and grant us your forgiveness. Forgive us for our apathy at times, for our ignorance, and for our blindness. But most importantly, we ask that you help us to forgive those who would harm us. Lift us, help us to lift up with love those who have caused us the greatest pain. Though at times it may be difficult, we know that forgiveness is the greatest form of love that we can share. Manitou, great mystery, you have taught us to seek justice and live righteously. We ask for your vision and your wisdom and your strength and your guidance as we continue our journey to a more just and loving world. Amen.
Thank you for that, Kia. That was beautiful and moving. I'm going to have everybody turn their attention to the flag. We will now raise it, please. Awesome. Now Kia will come forward and has a message from the board.
And I'm back.
And she's back.
Thank you all so much for being here with us this afternoon. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to pay respects to and show love to the beautiful lives that we have the privilege of honoring today. OutCT will be making today a starting point for a shift in the work of our organization. We are so grateful that in southeastern Connecticut, the LGBT community has been welcomed into the larger community so often with open arms. And to our community and that our community members, black and brown, people of color, non-black and brown in the community, all these community members have been able to live, work, and love in safe spaces years before that was possible in any other part of our country. While we are grateful for that reality, OutCT would like to implement a renewed commitment to the voices and the needs of our siblings in communities of color. OutCT's board of directors has expressed a commitment to the inclusion of Black and Brown history and literature in its education series. We are committed to creating safe spaces for Black and Brown young people in our youth center. We are also committed to the education and employment of Black and Brown queer people through access to grant funding assistance, employment opportunities, and educational opportunities. Most importantly, OutCT is committed to listening to the voices of folks in our community and shifting, changing, and rethinking things until we get it right. We hope that you share this vision with us, and we ask that you support and march alongside us as we continue to grow as an organization. Again, I want to thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to Chevelle Moss Savage and the Education Committee. Thank you to Lindsay and the Youth Center, and to all those who helped in the planning and the execution of today's event. As always, thank you, Mayor Passero, City Council, and the City of New London for always answering our call and for exemplifying the true meaning of community. Thank you, everyone. Be safe and happy Pride!